Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Samin, and to begin with, I would like to share a quote from a famous scientist, Albert Einstein. He said, "The only source of knowledge is experience." However, we all know that it is never easy to take our first step and experience new things, because first, you need to be brave enough to leave your comfort zone. And then you need to be offered some opportunities, and it is often preferable if there are some nice companions. So after taking part in this club, what is your next step to experience new things? If you also have that question in your mind, I have the answer here, which is to sign up and deliver your C1 speech. I'm sure after you have paid your member fee, you're not going to just sit there and listen for the whole semester, right?
Yes.
Thank you. And after signing up for the C1 speech, it is the best opportunity for you to perform and to experience something new. So later on, I'm going to give some very brief introduction about the requirements of C1 speech. So, as you can see, there is some ice, it is very cold, and it is frozen. Quite similar as our relationship with a complete stranger, right? But then here comes a hammer, and then we use it to break the ice. And then finally, there is a very big heart. So what I'm trying to say is, for the prepared speech section in Toastmaster, a goal is attached to each project in order to let the speaker to improve their presentation skills step by step. And for C1 speech, the project is the icebreaker. In other words, it's self-introduction. You can talk about anything by any means you want, as long as it is related to yourself. And you are eligible to deliver this speech once you have become a member of NTU Toastmaster. So if you haven't paid the member fee yet, today is the deadline, and you should find our TME Tina to pay your fee. And also, the time limit for this speech is 4 minutes to 6 minutes. So after signing up for this speech, our preparation path can be divided into 3 stages. There is nothing special about it. First, you write the speech and then revise it to check if there's any grammatical mistakes. And then moving on, you practice it. You memorize your speech first, and then you can rehearse it with your mentor. And finally, you can deliver your speech in front of all the audience, during the meetings. So, it sounds a little bit scary and confusing, right? But please don't worry, because here we have offered a few resources for you to help you. First is our SGD1. And in fact, our first SGD for this semester, it's just around the corner. It will be held tomorrow. And the topic is prepared speech. And one of the very best speakers in our club, Joey, is going to be the lecturer. And hence, he will share some of his personal experience of delivering a speech and give you some very useful tips. So make sure that you won't miss it. And besides this SGD, each of you have been assigned to have a mentor, right? He or she can usually help you a great deal. He or she can help you to revise the script and also can help you to rehearse it before your actual presentation. And besides these two, every prepared speech has been uploaded to our YouTube channel, and you can also read the scripts in our blog. So if you would like to see how the others has delivered their C1 speeches, these two can be very good resources for you as a reference. And now I would like to ask you a question. Apart from all these, can you think of one more very useful help? Thank you. You're so. Oh, sorry. You're so smart. Thank you. You're so smart. It's me. I'm standing right in front of you, and I'm giving this workshop. So the first thing I would like you to remember, it's my name. My name translated in English, Young Samin. And the beginning letters of these three words are ISI. So right now, just to think about that you're going to speak in English for 5 minutes, you may feel this challenge is ISI as well. Impossible, scary, and even insane. But please do not freak out because I'm here and I can give you some 3 wonderful tips. They are ISI. I stands for impressive, S for sincere, and I for impassioned. And in the following minutes, I'm going to talk about them one by one, and I will mainly focus on the impressive part because it is the part relating to your preparation. That is the writing part. So tip number 1, make it impressive. As what I've just said, this tip is related to your writing. And personally, I believe that a good presentation skills can easily attract the audience attention. But it's the good content that can make them listen to you and pay attention to you for the whole process. So be careful with the organization of your speech because it is very important and it is often what makes a speech very good. But how to make it impressive? A C1 speech is self-introduction, and there are certainly so many details, information, and characteristics that you would like to talk about. But bear in mind that do not make this speech become a very plain description of yourself. Try to find a core value or a very important feature that you would like to emphasize on. So make it special, to the point, and impressive is your first task. And secondly, you should design your speech well. That requires a very good organization because often the audience are very easily distracted. So you should make sure that your speech has a very good structure and that you can guide them to follow your ideas step by step by having a good structure and also some good topic sentences. These advices seems a little bit abstract, right? So I would like to give an example. So her name is Hello Kitty, and she's our new member of NTU Toastmaster. And she's now going to deliver her C1 speech. And here are 2 versions of her speeches. You can take a look. This is the first one. And may I invite someone to read it out loud for you?
Hello. Okay. My first name is Kitty. My third name is Hello. I am white. I am 1 meter tall. I love bread. I was born in Japan.
Thank you very much. And here comes to the second version. May I invite you to read it for me?
Many people think that I am a cat. Although I look like one, I'm not. I will tell you my feeling about it.
Thank you. And now, can you tell me which one do you think is better? Second one, right? So after comparing with these 2, you can easily find that the second one is considerably more impressive and more memorable because she didn't just list out all the information about herself, her height, the color that she likes, or her hobby, where she comes from, etc. But instead, she found a feature that she would like to emphasize on, and she talked about it and can successfully leave a very strong impression on the audience. But here comes to the second question. What can I say? Most of you may not be able to think about what's so special about you, but I believe that is not the truth. So, in the following part, I have gathered 5 topics which are mostly talked about in our C1 speeches, and I would like to share them just to give you a concept one by one. First, basic information. Second, your name. Thirdly, your unique story, your profession, and why do you join NTU Toastmasters. But please bear in mind that I'm not asking you to put all this information into your speech because it is very important to have one core value in your speech. So you can just decide which one you think that suits you the best, or you have some better ideas beside all this so you can have your own choice. So let's talk about basic information first. You can talk about your hometown, your family, your hobby, your friends, your personality, and so on. The content is really not limited. As long as you think this is worthwhile for you to share, then you can share with it in front of all the audience. And to serve as an example, Hannah Law's speech, "This is me," is a very good example. In her C1 speech here, she talked about where she is currently studying at, and also her hobbies, which include music, art, and sports. And also, there's Jessica's. Her speech title is "An Exhibition Lover," and she told us that where does she come from, and also her massive love towards visiting exhibitions in Taipei. So moving on, you can talk about your name, because as we all know, name is what represents our identity. So for special names, you can think about, is there any special stories behind your name? Any special meanings that you would like to share? Do you have any funny nicknames? Or how can you make it easy for all of us to remember? And as an example, Ariel's speech is a very good one. Her title is "The Little Mermaid's Adventure of the Land." And she talked about her English name comes from the Disney animation that calls The Little Mermaid. And having the same name as the main character there, she told us that they don't just share the same name, they also have very similar personalities because they both like to have adventures and to try new things. And after listening to this speech, you can never forget Ariel's name. And moving on is Eric's speech. It is a very classic one. His topic is a special lion. And guess what? Because his aunts gave him the nickname Lion because of his Chinese name's pronunciation, Lai Ren. So he's very proud of this nickname, and he said that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And he told us that he wants to be a special lion who can speak in English and to play the piano. So that makes the audience laugh very hard. So it is a very successful speech. So the third aspect would be a unique story or any memory that you think has changed me, has changed you, and also you would like to share with us. Also, there is no limit of what you are going to talk about. You can share your experience of raising a pet, how you get along with your friends, or even a traveling experience. It can be funny, inspiring, or even touching. So, the first very great example would be Sophia's speech, "To See a Bigger World." She has just delivered her C4 speech, right? She's such a good speaker. And in her speech, she shared with us her working experience in New Jersey. And she discovered that people from different cultural backgrounds can have very different values, ideas, or even everything. So she thinks it's very important to think from others' perspective and to stand in others' shoes. And from then on, she has put that into her goal. So that speech is very inspiring. And following this, it is Yutan's speech, "Confidence and Beauty." Yutan told us that she used to be very insecure about her appearance, that she's not confident, and she tried to deal with this problem. And finally, she discovered that she would always feel comfortable, beautiful, and happy while standing on the stage because confidence, her inner confidence, is what motivates her to be a better person, but not the appearance. So you can think from that aspect as well. And coming up is the profession. That means, what's your dream job? Or what was your dream when you were a little kid? And also, what is you majoring in now? You can also talk about it if you think that can best represent you. And I would like to use Jerry's C1 speech, A Boy and His Dream, as an example. So in this speech, Jerry used a narrative tone to talk about a little boy's story, how she used to love music so much, but then have to give it up because her parents expect him to focus on his study. But then she discovered that he really cannot forget his beautiful dream and his love for music. So he has a new goal after that, which is to combine his interest and profession. That is really inspiring as well. And finally, why do you all join NTU Toastmasters? You can start to think about that right now. And one of the best examples would be our TME speech, Tina, English and I. And in this speech, she talked about her fear while standing in front of the audience and speaking English. But then she decided that she has to overcome it. So she took part in the Toastmasters and look at how successful she is right now, right? So you can think about this. So after discussing about the topic choice, I would like to move on and talk about the structure of a speech. In fact, writing a speech is quite similar to writing an essay. You have a structure that looks like a hamburger. You have the opening, the body part, and also the conclusion. And here are some things that you need to pay attention to. First, for the opening part, you have to remember that the opening is a very strong tool for you to draw the audience attention. So make sure you have a powerful opening that can arouse the audience interest. And also, an opening can also serve as an introduction. That means to give the audience an overview of what you are going to talk about in the following minutes. As for the body part, remember, don't use words that are too difficult, because by using the difficult words, it may be very difficult for you to remember your script because it will become some, I don't know how to describe that. Anyway, it's not recommended for you to use some very difficult vocabulary. And also, try not to put too much information into your body part because that makes the audience very hard to digest what you are talking about. And also, make sure that your ideas and your sentences are logically coherent and fluent. And as for the conclusion, you have to state your core value again, because that can leave a great impression to the audience and may even make them to think about themselves. And here are some techniques that can help you. First is a quote. It's just like what I've just did in the beginning of this workshop. I would recommend using some quotes because I think they are usually very convincing, very inspiring, and the sentences are usually very beautiful. That is very worthwhile for you to put that into your speech. And also, you can try raising questions to the audience because by doing that, you have built an interaction and connection between you and the audience, and that can arouse the audience's attention. Thirdly is the conclusion, just like what I've mentioned about. A good conclusion can be very thought-provoking and very inspiring. And last but not least, if you think that you want to share some beautiful photos or some pictures to the audience, you can use the PowerPoint as an assistance. As for the performance skills, here are 3 main points that you need to pay attention to. First is the vocal variety. That means you should not speak too flat or to make the audience want to sleep, you know. And as just the language evaluator last week said, language is feeling. So make sure that you can express your emotions through your tone and your words. And also body language, be natural. You can walk a little bit and try to avoid repeating some unnecessary gestures like shaking your body or, I don't know, moving your feet too often. And last but not least, please remember that you need to memorize your script really well, because for the first time for you to stand on the stage, you may usually be very nervous, and the possibility for you to forget can be very high. So listening to all these, please do not forget the other two letters of my name, S and I, sincere and impassioned. There really isn't much to explain for these two words because it is about your attitude and your performance. And you really need to learn from an actual attempt by trying to deliver it and then discover what you're lacking and then try to improve time from time. And it's very important to be sincere because, trust me, the audience can feel whether what you are talking about is sincere or not. And if so, they will pay attention to you and try to respond to you as well. And for the impassioned part, what I'm trying to talk about is that imagine you are one of them. The them refers to the audience. If you were sitting there as an audience, what would you like the speaker to talk to you, to share with you? You may want some inspiration, or you may want to laugh very hard, so please be related to them. Try to imagine if you were an audience that is listening to your speech, and do not just read or recite your script line to line. So, the very last suggestion is to keep calm and good luck. Because for the first time, you may feel very nervous, but it is really not necessary. Because I can tell you that there's no better audience in the entire world than the audience here. Because we are all very supportive, very encouraging, and we will not laugh at you, even if you have forget the whole script. Please avoid that to happen. Okay. So last but not least, I would like to share the very last quote that I like very much. It says that if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. So congratulations if you have already reached your first step to embrace the challenges ahead of you. Thank you.